It's Jack from Alpha Charts with a state of the market video. Today is May 14th, 2022. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right. Also, if you haven't caught it yet, Bazinga and Jonah Lupton are presenting the FinTwit conference and they're live streaming it. If you go to Bazinga's YouTube page, you can see a bunch of it here. I'll just add it to here. I think you guys could see this. But it's Trader Marcuso, Matt's presentation. I'm going to watch that after I'm done recording this from yesterday. And there's a bunch of other great presentations. So if you're not watching it, again, through Bazinga's YouTube page, you may want to check that out. If I haven't told you yet, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. Again, I do appreciate it. That's how I really tell how much you guys appreciate these videos is by the number of subscribers I have and the number of likes and the comments and everything else. So thank you all very much. I do try to respond to everybody that leaves a comment. And again, the number of subscribers to my channel just means so much to me. So I appreciate that. What else? State of the market. Let's go. I was deciding if I was going to show you this video or not. If you haven't seen this video, this is hilarious. Anyway, check it out. It's on my Twitter page. It's at Alpha Charts 365. So check that out. Okay. Enough of all that. Let's do state of the market, starting with the Qs. All right. So what do we have down here? Okay. So here's the Qs up top. So Matt Marcuso, Trader Marcuso on Twitter, create this new highs, new lows. I use the Qs at you could customize it to a few different ways. I'm looking at the Qs, and as you can see, even though we had a nice update, new lows outpaced new highs, 973. And also you see low volume on the Qs. So yes, was it day 2 of a potential rally? Yes, which is great, right? But I'm not overly enthused yet. Down here is the MACD. And as you can see, we have maybe a little bit of a curl, right? On the faster moving average line. And so we'll see if that, crosses. And in the past, crosses have been good to give you direction. And sometimes, not so good, right? Here it crossed up and then, continued lower. So again, there's no holy grail indicator, but definitely something I'm watching that's encouraging. But again, lower volume, net lows compared to highs. So I'm not so much. Also, when you go to the monthly, I know we're mid-month now, so it's not great, but this monthly MACD crossing lower back here at the beginning of the year, yeah, that's the big deal, right? That's the big deal. When I start seeing this start to turn back up, that's something that I'm going to get real excited about. Monthly MACD is one of my favorite signals. I don't know why I don't show it more often, but it is a great signal for, again, long-term risk on, risk off type stuff. So I'll try to incorporate that more going forward. All right. So anyway, Qs, like we talked about, low volume, big rally into moving averages. This is for fun. Let's put on the 50, maybe we can put the 200-day moving average. So this is a pretty busy chart now, but it undercut the 300 level, bounced back pretty quick. That's the positive, right? The 300 level was a level that we were watching, maybe all the way down to 277-ish or so. So it bounced right back. Now we don't know if it's going to roll over one more time or not. It could, no idea. But as you can see, especially let's take off price. If I remember how to do this, there it is. So sometimes I'll just take price, get rid of it. Just look at moving averages. And what do you see here? What's the trend? The trend is lower, lower, turning lower, lower, right? So every moving average on almost every time frame, except of the shortest of the short, is moving down, right? So what's trend? Trend is still lower. Now, could that be changing? Sure. that's a bottom call. I'm not going to do that yet. I need some more proof. But as of right now, looking at all the moving averages, they're all moving lower. So that's a big deal, right? And QQQE, the equal weights, again, same idea. Big head and shoulders came almost into this area, didn't quite make it there, but got really darn close. So maybe this is, one more snapback, then maybe it comes down and tests it. Maybe it never does, right? There's no guarantee it ever tests it. But right now you have a 2-day rally, and this is the equal weight, so that actually is really nice to see. It means it's kind of broad based. 402, and then compared to 3.71. So again, you see it was a broad based rally. So that's good. Again, lower volume on the Qs, so don't love that. Usually we start with the SPX, so we'll go to there now, just so we don't get too far out of order. So this VWAP was where we were watching for. It almost tagged it and then reversed. So that was a pretty good spot. So I think this VWAP becomes important going forward. Not just by me saying it, because price kind of respected it at this point. So bounce back, but again, into these declining moving averages, every one of them is declining at this point. You see, I put time frame continuity up here as a strat thing. And I do like the way that, this tells you what's the trend, right? Down on the year, down on the quarter, down on the month, down on the week. So it's up on the day, right? So only the shortest of the short time frames is up. So there's a really good, you don't need a moving average. If you have this tells you everything you need, right? Again, snapback, low volume. 1 day is not a trend, but we'll watch it and see what happens. Looking at RSP. This is the equal weight. So we had the breakdown. This one did tag right at the VWAP. Nice to see, right? On the equal weight, again, important area now. Then it bounced off the VWAP. Again, the VWAP from the COVID low. But now let's see what happens when it turns into this overhead supply, which is about, where it's at. So maybe it gets one more day higher. Moving averages start to catch up again. And then we roll back over. Maybe not. Maybe it continues higher and we V bottom. But again, the volume just isn't there. This isn't the smell of capitulation. This is just an oversold rally at this point. Again, next week could change, but right now, oversold rally is the way I'm reading the indexes. Looking at IWM, let's see if this continues. IWM, right basically into the area that I had highlighted of potential support. So it did hold its support, which is good to see. Again, low volume right there. We don't know if it will continue to hold. I have this 166, which is a gap from back here as potential area also. But listen, there's a gap back here to worry about, and not all gaps get filled. So I'm not saying they have to. So this is just, who knows? But this was the area that was really important. And so far it did hold. That's nice to see. And it's bouncing up nice and, pretty good again on that low volume bounce back. So again, the jury is still out. There's hope, but there's no, I'm not getting too excited about it. IWO, I wanted to see this one leading higher. I can't say it's leading higher yet. It did fall through the area I was watching, but it's starting to try to bounce back. We'll see if this becomes overhead supply. Again, low volume. It could easily turn right back over and just continue lower, which would invalidate this 5-way structure. And that's fine. You're right. These are just potentials, so we'll see. We'll see what next week brings. Again, may have a little bit more to the upside. 223, 224. Yes, another 4 or 5%, and then potential rollover. I don't know. We'll see. But again, all the moving averages. Again, when you hide this is the small cap growth. They're all moving lower. Let's just clean that up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Even the VWAP from the COVID low is going lower. All moving averages are going lower. There's your 200-day moving lower. Really, really, really hard to have a bullish bias unless it's on the short-term time frame, right? Maybe for a few days bounce, and then we'll see how volume comes in. We'll see what price action does with these moving averages, if they start to flatten, that kind of thing. Mid caps, MDY, it will start to roll over again. You see right here, time frame continuity. It is pretty nasty right now. And it is, again, May test overhead supply got extended. We'll see what happens. Low volume again on all the indexes. So that's something to be aware of. Okay. Looking at XLF, this one was going to a weekly here. Weekly. So on a weekly chart, you can see this was a super important area, right? This 2008 high, 2007 high. Again, 2018, it was the high. In 2020, it was the high. We finally got the breakout, very bullish. And now it looks like it wants to come back and try to retest that breakout. It's fine. I mean, that's what price is supposed to do as long as it respects it. I think that, that'd be fine and that'd be totally healthy and everything else. So that's the area that's got a hold on XLF. A fall through there gets me much more bullish. You see this bullish bias coming in, and maybe it's a start of capitulation, right? But I don't think we're there yet. We'd love to see one more again spike like this, right? I want to see some gigantic bar or two selling. Not bad right there. Accelerated selling down. But I'm not considering that capitulation quite yet. Looking at SMH. So here are the semiconductors. Again, strong on the bounce, right? 5% up. And you see on the time frame continuity, it's a little better, right? And you see the shortest moving average starting to turn up a little bit. You see this one starting to flatten out a little bit. So that's encouraging, right? Held kind of where it was supposed to hold, right? This general area, could easily drop this down to 216, that's fine, right? It's an area. Again, bounce was on lower volume, so I'm not getting too excited, but SMH, if it could start to build out a bottom here, that would be very constructive. Definitely something to watch here. And again, this is the most constructive thing I've seen so far is SMH trying to make a bottom, and this time frame continuity trying to hammer something out. Again, it's still underneath all the moving averages, has a lot of work to do, declining volume. That's not pristine or optimal, but we'll see. But that's the nicest thing I've seen so far. Lumber, would have loved to see this, leading higher. It came back, retested, held. It's still literally in a range for a year. So we'll see if this holds any weight or not. Moving on to VIX. So VIX, I was really looking for a spike into, I really want to see a spike into that 38 level. And we could probably get rid of that too. Okay. And we just didn't see it, right? We just didn't see a gigantic, ginormous spike. And now it rolled back over again, giving it more room, maybe to spike over, or maybe it just rolls back over. We'll see. But again, I would love to see above 38, even above 37, 38, 40 would be great. Doesn't have to come in and look like this. Okay. But I want to see it, above 36. Quite hasn't quite gotten there yet. I just, yeah. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to do that, but that'd be nice, right? And we don't always get what we want in this market. Next up, bond spreads. Bond spreads here. Let's get this volume out of here because we don't need that either. And as I'm gonna go back to. So one thing that you saw when you really look at this chart, when you look at bars on a line chart, is that these big gaps higher, right? That's on the way up. And when things were healing, you had big gaps lower, right? When things are healing on the way down. So something I'm noticing here is that there was starting to get gappy, right? Less smooth, like this is all smooth, that's fine. And even this was, fine. Not really gappy at all. Anything gappy to the downside, But now we're starting to show these gaps to the upside, big moves in bond spreads and credit spreads. So that's important, I think. Maybe it rolls over, maybe it continues higher. I don't know if we're in this type of situation or if we're in this type of situation where it's just going to roll over. But it did make a higher high on the spread, and definitely something I'm watching. And again, this type of movement is not beautiful, for not bullish, I should say. So we will see where this goes next week. But again, a push higher, especially if it looks kind of like this, or this, that would be especially if it starts to gap up higher, that would be the bearish scenario if bond spreads start to continue to widen. All right. Next up is going to be put call ratio. All right. So with all this doom and gloom, everyone's bearish, right? Nope. We are at 0.872. I mean, it started to try to push a little higher and it just couldn't get above this area. This is right now an important area, right? This 1.12-ish area. We'll see what happens, but I would love to see this capitulatory spike again. And going back, it's been important in the past, and for price to go get above this 1.4. Again, a spike in VIX and a spike in put call ratio up there, that would be a very, very, very bullish on the contrarian's point of view. Not there yet. Everyone's still buying the dip, it looks like, right? They may say they're bearish, but they're hopeful and they're not willing to go all in full bear. And so we continue to grind and we get these snapback rallies, and I don't know. Value line geometric index, start looking at some of my breadth studies, and haven't looked at this one in a while, but again, it rolled over and looks, breadth is pretty washed out. I kind of like the MMFI, which is percentage stocks above the 50-day moving average. That's what I'm looking for right there. And it got down to 12% and then snapped back to 17. I really want to see it with a full washout. I mean, listen, 12 is nice. Don't get me wrong. It's not bullish at all, but it's not that capitulatory washout. I want to see one more spike into this green zone somewhere. That would be what I want to see. And again, VIX higher, spiking higher, above 38, 37, 38, 39. Put call ratio 1.4-ish is good. Washout in the MMFI into this under 10%. Like that's stuff that really would get me turned bullish, right? That's good stuff right there. With all that being said, what are we seeing in gold? They're not buying gold. That's what we're seeing. So I guess that's, again, it's still potentially making this pattern. We're not quite there yet, but as of right now, not buying gold. So that's probably a good thing. And Bitcoin. So let's talk Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we talked about it losing this triangle, broke down, and I still think it got down to about 25,000 or so, bounced back. Still think this potentially rolls over, and a risk on, risk off asset. Using this as an indicator, this shows that there is selling pressure, in my opinion. And I think that that if it doesn't reclaim 30,000 in this area, it's just back into supply, and it's pretty clean with supply and demand. Good chance 20,000 is tested. Now, if we could get there quickly at the same time or a similar time that you see the VIX moving and you see the put call ratio moving, you see the the percent of stocks under the 50-day moving, that would be like that confluence that I'm really looking for to get long this market. Again, watch Bitcoin this weekend, see what it does. It's been pretty good as a risk on, risk off type indicator. You see, as it rolls over, and it's correlated pretty well with the Nasdaq, to be honest with you. So definitely be careful. be careful. And yeah, I mean, I just don't trust this market. So let us talk about what let us talk about potential, what I'm thinking. Let's put it all together. I still think that this is a short covering rally. I still think that this is I still think this is just short covering, low volume. I'm not digging it yet. So in my opinion, let's see if I got this right. Boom. I try to make a new light thing, right? So boom. Say the market is bearish, no new buys, be patient and wait. Cash is still king at this point, unless you're a super short-term trader. Okay. So that is my that's the new stop light that I created. Hopefully we could get into a yellow or green light scenario, but as of right now, I still think this is red light territory. Maybe next week we'll change that. Okay. Hope you all have a great week. Stay safe out there. Again, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. But I'm really trying to build that YouTube base, so I do appreciate all of your support. Thank you all very much. Take care. Bye-bye.